Jacob here tonight, okay, but I'm not feeling it. Backlash was too much. He put his hands on my referees, he attacked my agents, he tossed me out of the ring, and he went way too far with you. So he don't deserve to be here tonight, and I'm not sure he deserves to be here at all anymore. Let's think about this.
What happened backstage after Raw? Triple H and Adam Pearce arrest Jacob Fatu Samoan Werewolf suspended. They could not control him. They threw security at him. They threw officials at him. They threw the entire WWE authority structure at Jacob Fatu, and he ate every single one of them alive. And now, right now, behind closed doors inside the WWE compound, Triple H and Adam Pearce are dealing with the nuclear fallout of the most unhinged human being walking the face of professional wrestling today. We are talking suspensions. We are talking emergency meetings. We are talking about a backstage situation so chaotic, so raw, so absolutely unprecedented that people who have been in this business for 30 years are standing in hallways with their jaws on the floor. Let's get into all of it right now. So here is what the world saw on camera. At WWE Backlash 2026, held at the Benchmark International Arena in Tampa, Florida on the 9th of May, Jacob Fatu stepped into the main event against World Heavyweight Champion Roman Reigns. This was a match soaked in family blood, in legitimate grievance, in years of Jacob watching from the outside while Roman built his empire. For 17 minutes, Fatu pushed the tribal chief to the absolute limit, powerbombing him through the announce desk, locking in the Tongan death grip, refusing to let Roman breathe for even a single second. But when that spear landed and the referee's hand hit the mat for the 3 count, something inside Jacob Fatu did not just break, it detonated. Fatu did not walk away. He did not accept the loss. He locked the Tongan death grip on Reigns again after the bell. He went after referee Shane Helms, who hit the floor hard. He physically hurled Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager, a WWE official, a man who is there to maintain order, out of that ring like he weighed nothing. Pearce later posted on social media that he was, quote, fine, adding you can't break scrap iron, but make no mistake, he took a real bump from a man who was completely beyond reach. Production cameras caught Fatu standing alone in that ring, the World Heavyweight Championship raised above his head, Roman Reigns laid out beneath him. That was the last image of Backlash 2026. Not the champion, the werewolf. And right here is where I need you to smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this channel, Wrestling Zone Insider, is where the real story gets told. We do not just recap what you already saw. We go behind the curtain. We go into the hallways. We go where the cameras stop rolling. So if you are not already part of this community, you need to be here right now. Now let me tell you what happened when those cameras stopped rolling in Tampa. Jacob Fatu walked through the curtain at gorilla position, and the energy back there was not celebratory. It was stunned silence. He himself spoke about this on the No Contest Wrestling podcast, describing how he walked past Triple H backstage, had what he called a good moment with Hunter, and then took a long walk through the arena just processing everything that had happened. Think about that image for a second. This absolutely feral, untamable force, this man who had just physically assaulted his own boss, walking through a quiet corridor, alone, still drenched in sweat, the weight of everything crashing down on him in real time. But Triple H was not just standing there exchanging pleasantries. Paul Levesque, the chief content officer of WWE, the man who controls every single creative and operational decision on that roster, understood immediately that what just happened in Tampa was not a normal post-match angle. Pearce had been physically manhandled. A referee had been put down. The chaos had spilled past every boundary that WWE's authority structure is supposed to protect. And when those lines get crossed, Triple H does not ignore them, because if he does, the entire credibility of WWE's on-screen power structure collapses. The emergency began before the talent even left the building in Tampa. Pearce was already on the phone. Emergency creative meetings were happening. And the decision that had to be made was enormous. Do you suspend Jacob Fatu, potentially removing the hottest act on Monday Night Raw from television? Or do you lean into the chaos and let the monster run? Reports coming out of WWE circles indicate that management was deeply divided. Some officials inside the company, people who have been around long enough to remember when lines got blurred and real heat replaced work, argued that allowing physical attacks on non-wrestling personnel without visible consequence destroys the authority of every GM, every referee, every producer standing ringside. Then came Monday Night Raw, the 11th of May, live from Knoxville, Tennessee. And this is where Triple H's fingerprints were all over what went down. Roman Reigns arrived at that arena and was immediately intercepted by Adam Pearce in the backstage corridor. Pearce, his voice carrying the exhaustion of a man who had spent 48 hours in damage control mode, told Reigns point blank, Jacob Fatu did not deserve to be in that building after what he did at Backlash. But here is where it gets absolutely fascinating. Roman Reigns, the man who publicly declared Backlash was Fatu's last night in WWE, told Pearce to stand down. He could not fire Jacob yet, not until Jacob acknowledged him. The tribal chief, even in rage, was playing a longer game, and Triple H signed off on every word of it. What happened next was the most violent, most visceral segment Raw has produced in years. Fatu arrived. He walked past Jey Uso in the backstage corridor and flattened him without a word, just a look and then a devastatingly casual act of violence that sent Jey crashing into equipment cases. He walked past Jimmy Uso and put him down just as easily. He arrived in that ring during the acknowledgement ceremony with Roman Reigns staring at him across the canvas, a steel chair in the champion's hands, the arena in absolute frenzy. Fatu's voice was low, almost calm, which made it 10 times more terrifying when he told Roman, "Beat it out of me." That was not a wrestling promo. That was a man drawing a line in the sand with blood. What followed was chaos that ended with Roman powerbomb through the announce table, the Usos destroyed, Pearce shoved down for the second time in 4 days, and Fatu once again standing over the fallen champion holding that World Heavyweight title belt. Then he walked backstage and dropped an unfiltered, uncensored promo on a WWE camera, rejecting the crowd chanting for more, declaring he answers to nobody, positioning himself as a force that exists outside every rule this company has ever written. Triple H watched all of it from backstage, and the decision that came after is now reverberating through the entire roster. This moment in WWE history carries echoes of something that happened decades ago, when Mike Tyson showed up in WWF in 1998 and the entire locker room understood that someone had entered the building who could not be processed through normal channels. Vince McMahon had to make the same calculation Triple H is making right now. Do you try to put a leash on something genuinely dangerous, or do you recognize that the danger is the attraction? Steve Austin and Tyson created WrestleMania 14. Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns, with this uncontrollable energy crackling between them, could create something just as historically significant heading into Clash in Italy and beyond. So here is where we land. Triple H and Adam Pearce are now holding Fatu's WWE future in their hands. The suspension is on the table, the fine is on the table, the kayfabe firing is on the table, and every single option shapes what this summer looks like. A suspended Fatu who crashes back through the barricade at Clash in Italy becomes the most dangerous trespasser in wrestling history. A fired Fatu who cannot be stopped from showing up makes every Roman Reigns championship celebration a potential ambush. And a Fatu who faces zero consequences? Well, that tells every person in that locker room that the rules simply do not apply to the Samoan Werewolf. Jacob Fatu told the camera backstage after Raw that he was not going to give the crowd what they wanted. That he does not answer to them, does not answer to WWE management, does not answer to anybody. And somewhere in the building, Triple H was watching that clip, understanding that he has on his roster the rarest thing in this business, a performer so committed, so physically imposing, so genuinely unpredictable that even the authority figures are operating in real time, figuring it out as they go. That is appointment television. That is the kind of energy you cannot manufacture. So I need to hear from you right now. Does Triple H make the right call by suspending Jacob Fatu and letting the anticipation build until Clash in Italy? Or does he keep the Samoan Werewolf on Raw every single week and let the destruction continue unchecked? Drop your answer in the comments, fight it out down there, and let's see where this community stands. For Wrestling Zone Insider, this is your boy signing off.